Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and we're getting back at it with a
Giving
first impression.
Yes, of Picture Perfect.
The only game where it is acceptable to take out your phone and take pictures while the game is still in progress.
Yes.
Well, unless you're... I suppose you could take it for Instagram throughout the game if it's not like one that's quick and snappy that turns to just keep going and that type of thing. But this one, you need to take the picture.
Roll the die, you'll go and quit taking pictures. I need this to roll perfectly for the slow-mo video.
I'll take a video of it. No, but yeah, this is an interesting one. And it's kind of, so I guess getting into it right away, what my hopes were from this game was just like something way different than anything we had in our collection. It kind of not has kind of a little bit of a Clue feel if you've played that, where there's like a pack where you put like three cards with a who done it, where, with what type thing. This one's like that, but a little bit different, where you're, instead of a murder happening,
It looks like it could be the scene of a murder.
It could be.
Maybe that'll be an expansion.
Yes, I think there's a 5 to 6 player expansion, but maybe the next expansion could have a little bit of a, maybe they'll bring some Clue stuff into it, and they'll have to recreate a murder scene, possibly. I don't know. But in each, so you have a random, I don't know how many are in the front, there's only 3 people, I think. But you have a random amount of people, or not random, but like a set amount of people, and they all want to be somewhere next to something or whatnot in a picture.
Yeah, be next to the table, be in the back, no one in front of them, next to this specific person, cover the face of this person.
Right, so yeah, they'll
lots
have
of different requirements.
Right, they'll each have 3 of those requirements. That'll change from game to game. You'll put them in each pack, and I think was there 10 people or 12?
I think there's something like that.
And your board is kind of built up of a spot that could potentially hold every single person.
Yeah.
I don't think there's extra ones.
I think it might be 16 people, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, there's a plant, and there's also a dog.
There's a plant and a dog.
So maybe not all quite people, but yeah, so then you're trying to, throughout the game, you're going to get to look at a certain one of the people and what they want. You may not see all of them. I think in our game we didn't necessarily see all of them.
I missed out on like 3 or 4.
Yeah, so, and we played it 2 players. I'm not sure how it would feel with 3 or 4, if you see the same amount, if you see less. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, in our game, I think we both had about 3 that we didn't get to see at all. So then, yeah, you're going off of no information on them.
Yeah, but then some others might have interactions with them. So you may not see them, but someone else needs to stand next to them, so you can still kind of score for them, and hopefully you place them according to their needs as well.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yeah, they each have a pack of those requirements. You look at a bunch of them throughout the game, but you're only actually like looking at, I think like in a 2-player game, it's like 5 or 6 at a time that you actually have in front of you that you can look at and rearrange. But throughout the game, you might be trading, and so you only have like a set that you're looking at, but you'll get to move them around. So some of it is a little bit of memory too, remembering what certain people wanted. But yeah, and then some is either blind guessing or just going based off of what other people kind of want to be next to. Because based on so each one has 3 things that they require. If you match all 3 of them, you get 6 points.
6, yeah.
If you get 2, I think, is it 3 points or 2 points? And 1, I think it's 1 point. But if you get none of them right and you place them, because you're not required to place everyone, but if you place them, you lose 3 points. And then throughout the game, the players can each put in basically a doubler, because a very important person. So if you meet their requirements, it'll double.
So you could possibly get 12 points or -6.
Right. So that could be very powerful as to where you play that. And that might be one that throughout the game in the different rounds when you're moving packages around, you're hoping to maybe keep one maybe with you the whole game.
Yeah.
And maybe have that one be the one that you double.
Yeah.
Just in case someone tries to place it and maybe didn't even see the card throughout the game, and then they could possibly lose a lot of points.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was hesitantly excited to try it out.
Yeah, me too. I was interested because it's a unique theme and concept, and we don't have that many of the kind of just pure deduction, kind of like Clue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of those games, so I was definitely looking forward to possibly filling that gap in the collection. But yeah, I think we saw a playthrough of this on the Dice Tower, and it looked unique. So yeah, I had some middle of the road expectations. But yeah, and we played it, and I had a really good time with this. I didn't know if I don't have the best memory. I think I could get a little confused pretty easily. I was worried about that, but since you can kind of place them out when you get the card initially, that helps you remember what they need. If you kind of set it up, I didn't really have a problem with forgetting. Some things you forget, but I never found there to be a huge problem of like, I just really don't remember what that person needed or this or that.
And there is potential that you just may not be able to place someone in a way that it's going to meet requirements.
Yeah, because they can contradict each other and be like, I want to be in the front, I want to be in the back.
Right. So, yeah, there may not be a perfect way to even place people.
Yeah.
And, like, then all of a sudden, if you place a person next to another person that doesn't want them next to them because that maybe is the only spot that they can meet one of their requirements, it's kind of it's kind of that where, I don't think you have to remember everything, luckily, in the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I did end up placing everybody, even though I didn't know a few of them. And I think I even ended up maxing out one of them for 6 points, which was really cool because I had a requirement for some other person. So I thought I knew what he needed, but I actually didn't know. And then you were revealing them, and it's like, oh, I got that and that and that.
Right.
But
so lucky.
Yeah, I was a little lucky.
But you were kind of unlucky, too, because at one point in the game, you did get the dog, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then you ended up getting everything on the dog wrong. And when I got it, because we ended up handing it back, and I don't know why, but I just like, well, I gave that to him, and he didn't see the... So we played our own version of, we each got to do 2 VIPs. And I ended up, I'm like, well, he didn't know that it was a VIP, so maybe he'll like just have matched one thing. So I'll make that a VIP so that I get, full points for the dog in case... And then come to find out, I don't know if you just totally thinking someone else.
I looked at it, but I think I read one of the things wrong, where I needed him in a certain spot for someone else's requirement. So I thought I'll just satisfy one of his conditions, but I forget what it was. If it was like, I think I thought maybe he wanted to be covered up, and when he really didn't want to be, something like that. And I kind of made a mistake there, just trying to satisfy one of his needs, but I actually satisfied none and got some negative points, and that ended up starting me off at like -6 points.
Right. Because I think both of the VIPs that I did were like the first. I just randomly put them in order.
Yeah.
But then too, I had misread. So we'd only play this. That was the first time we played it, and I just quickly looked at the rules, and I had misread the dog as well because he wanted to be able to be fully seen, and for some reason I thought it just had to show like. Like a more than half of him, or in the picture, or his face fully. So I had that, but then it was like you needed like everything but like the white line, unless it was the table or something blocking it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get the full double points, but I got 2 out of the 3 things.
Yeah. So. But luckily I had gotten a really good 2 that comboed together perfectly and put both of my doublers in them on the first round, because I wasn't sure if I'd even get those back if you did take them, and I think you ended up taking one but not the other, so you weren't able to...
I never even saw that other one.
Yeah, you didn't, so you weren't able to get the great combo of those 2.
Because those ended up working like really, really well together.
Yeah.
And you then yours just kind of all came together after that. Because it's funny that you saw the dog and got all of that, and then the 3 people you guessed on were all positive points, I think.
Yeah.
And you said, like you said, the one, I think you got all of them. So I'm like, this just isn't fair. I don't even know that I had any negative.
I don't think you did.
And then I ended up losing by like 10 points. So you did pretty good. You had better memory than you thought, or you got very lucky. Or you just combined them very well.
I think I started out with the better hand by far.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and maybe I guess, did you feel like you were moving things around a decent amount?
The way, the order that I saw them, I felt like they each kind of connected a little bit with what I've already placed, so that I kind of just worked from the right side and up, and I kind of just went over, and just the way that came out, that just worked with that. But so there wasn't that much mixing around, especially, like I said, starting off with 2 that worked so perfectly. I kind of had my priorities and what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to maybe sacrifice.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I know, I was wondering if maybe I got too like stuck in my ways, because I felt like once I placed a lot of them, I just left them how they were. Unless I got like the card later, like maybe it had to be next to a certain person or something, so I just put that person out there, just hoping that to maybe later see kind of what they needed, and that'd be maybe the only time I would maybe take them out or move them. Would be that. But yeah, I felt like I pretty much kept them in the same places once I placed them.
Yeah. So on to our first impression rating. I'm struggling with this one. I think I'll go 8.5 to a 9. I really enjoyed.
Whoa! I did not expect that.
I mean, this is different from a final rating.
That's true.
First impression, I had pretty middle expectations. But I actually really, really had fun with this one. And maybe it was because it kind of all worked out and was very satisfying. I think this is one where it can actually be really satisfying if things actually just connect together really well. And that it definitely was that for me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lower. I have a 7.
I tend to have higher numbers than you. Usually, I think that's just kind of how we rate games.
Yeah, I would think about a 7.5 to maybe an 8 on the upper end. I'm not 100% sure. And it'll be interesting to play this with more people. We played it with 2 players. I'm just interested to see how different people's will look if you have more players. Just to see. And then, and maybe next time I would maybe try just placing all of them just to see what happens. Because I think that could be part of the fun part. If you're not worried about winning as much, just to kind of place them and hope to see what happens. But I think we looked at the 3, because I didn't place 3 of them, I think. So we kind of looked at what could have possibly happened, and I think at the very best I broke about even. I don't think I had any great way that I could have placed them in the 3 remaining spots. So it's not like I missed out on anything. More than likely I was going to lose points. So it was a good decision to not put those out there. But I could see how that could add just that extra layer towards the end. If maybe you thought, it could be kind of one of those things too, if you thought like, I haven't really gotten that much good information, or I don't feel like these are maybe the greatest positions.
And
maybe I'll just throw them out there, Hail Mary, see what happens.
Yeah, and if you really want to analyze it, you use all the requirements. You use all of those cards in the game, right?
I can't remember. I think so.
I think so. So for what you have seen, you can, if you're really into it, you could be like, okay, so I haven't seen this card, this card, this card, and this card. So those must be on those other people, which I never thought of because it's our first time playing. But I could see some people even doing that, and maybe just for kind of like some of the more obvious ones, like maybe if it's like not a lot of people have been wanting to stand by the table from what I've seen, so maybe I'll put them there. So I could see that adding a little bit to the game, but I don't know if this is one, because you do kind of use them all, and I don't know if this is one that's going to be overly replayable or have a lot of variety, but I think for what it delivers, I think it feels different enough that you're going to want to be coming back to it every now and then.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one that, it's going to be a specific probably group that you're playing it with, or I think you could really play it with anyone.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those types of games.
Yeah,
and I think you could probably even, I don't know, it might be too much for, I don't know, not having kids or like dealing with younger younger siblings or whatever, it's hard to tell like what age groups things really would work for. Because like when we played games when we were younger, it was kind of like the Unos and Phase 10 and games like that where it's, I don't know, not as much. I don't know how young do you think it's not? I mean, like that.
Not only thinky, but kind of understanding, but they're a little clumsy and they could kind of have a hard time standing all the people up. But if you have someone to kind of supervise them a little bit and kind of show them how things are interacting with each other, I think you could probably get decently young. I mean, I don't know. I don't interact with a lot of children, so it's hard for me to tell.
But yeah, I think this is definitely. I think this is a great family game.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of one of those. If your family did, maybe you did grow up like playing a lot of Clue and really loving that game, and maybe you're now further maybe into board games and playing some that are, a little more strategy and stuff. But maybe you wanted to play a game with your parents or something that you played with Clue with in the past. I think this one would be an amazing game to kind of change that up if you didn't want to play the Clue version of it. I think this is a very fun kind of game that's adjacent to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought that it would be like kind of party game feel, that it would be better with more players, but I thought it was great with 2 players. And I think even there's possibility for like some sort of solo variant, because you are playing a very solo game, so I could see even that just working very well.
Yeah, I think you could definitely find a way to do some solo variant where you're just trying to beat your own score, I think would be the thing. But you could still probably have fun with that as well, I would think. I'm just trying to see what combos you could get. Because, it can be... It's a little funny sometimes when it specifically says, I think, like the one guy had, I want to be next to no women, and then like the 2 other cards were women cards. Yeah, it's like,
I want to be next
what do you want?
No women, except for her.
And her as well. So it could be a little funny when you see that.
It's definitely those kind of add a little character to the characters, which is nice.
But yeah, those are our first impressions on Picture Perfect. If you've made it this far and you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. We're always loving those. Or you could give a thumbs down, I guess. if this doesn't sound like the game for you. But otherwise, you can also subscribe if you want to see other first impressions or other videos in general. This might be one we might, at some point, do a playthrough of. Because I think it would be one that, I don't know, maybe not, because you can't see what people are doing. I suppose we could kind of do the camera every now and then.
Person's point of view type of thing.
Yeah, see what they're doing, and then end up at the end of the game seeing how they do comparatively.
Yeah.
We'll see. If that sounds like something you'd want to see, definitely let us know in a comment below. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always,
don't forget to keep on nibbling.
And taking those snapshots.